everybody. Welcome to the Watchung Booksellers podcast, where we bring you conversations from our bookstore's vast community of book professionals who talk about what they do for the love of books. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marnie, and I'm here with my co-producer, Kathryn. Hey, Kathryn.
Hey, Marnie. Hey, everybody.
And this week, we're talking about cookbooks.
Yeah, we're really excited to bring you two cookbook experts. Marissa Rothkopf-Bates has just written her first cookbook, but has been a food writer for a very long time. And she also hosts the Secret Life of Cookies podcast. And with her is our very own Nicole Ban, who is our cookbook buyer and also a trained chef. And the conversation was so fun that afterward, Marissa and I decided we needed one more book club for our bookstore because, 7, 8, 9 is not enough. And so we are going to start a cookbook club beginning on November 12th. Marissa will host it, and the first book will be Sally's Baking 101 by Sally McKinney. And what you'll do is pick up the book and make a recipe, bring it, and everyone will discuss the recipes in it, eat some food, have a good time, and you can find all the information on our events page on our website.
Wow, that sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Kathryn, what are you reading?
I'm a little late to the party, but I am reading Bunny by Mona Awad. I think this was out, I don't know how many years ago, several years ago, and became just kind of a cult favorite and sort of made her a big name in the publishing world. And she is coming back on October 27th for the sequel to that called We Love You, Bunny. But I wanted to get this done before that event. And so far, it's really good, really fun.
That's great.
Yeah. How about you?
I am reading, I think I mentioned this before, a debut novel by Caroline Palmer. It's called Workhorse, and she is going to be in the store tomorrow night, actually discussing her book with Kate Tuttle. So there's still time to register for that. It's a great book. It's a quick read, and I think you're really going to like it, so you should definitely come and hear her talk.
Absolutely. Yeah. She's also going to be in conversation with Clavis Natera at the library in November. So
that's great.
You can come hear this, and you can also hear her interview Clavis. But without further ado, let's hear from our cookbook experts. Marissa Rothkopf-Bates is the creator and host of the Secret Life of Cookies podcast. A professionally trained chef and journalist, she writes for the New York Times, Newsweek, Food 52, and Publishers Weekly. The Secret Life of Chocolate Chip Cookies is available in store now, and she lives in Montclair, New Jersey.
And Nicole Ban is a lifelong New Jersey resident who began her bookstore career fresh out of high school at Dalton. After a long-standing tenure at Montclair Book Center, Nicole made the leap to Watchung Booksellers in 2006. She quickly established herself as the store's resident problem solver and tech troubleshooter, titles she holds to this day. Her favorite fiction genre is mysteries. Nicole is also our cookbook buyer, and she's a graduate of the French Culinary Institute. Nicole lives in Montclair with her wife, 2 school-aged daughters, a dog, and a cat.
Enjoy the conversation, and we'll be back after to fill you in on what's coming up in the store.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely Friday.
It's a beautiful Friday. It's the first Friday that feels like fall. I'm actually wearing socks for the first time. This is very important for people to know, but I'm actually wearing socks for the first time in many months.
I am a diehard flip-flop wearer, and
Let me check.
no.
Not today.
Not
today, we've got rag socks on, and we're keeping warm, and that's good.
Yeah.
Because it's become that weather. But it's also the season for cookbooks, because the list of cookbooks that I constantly am getting in my inbox that are coming out this fall, it's huge. It's a huge list. Are there things that you are excited about?
I'm sure there are. I only say that because in the bookstore world, we order a season ahead. So I'm excited for spring, what's coming out next spring. But I guess the positive spin on that is that I'm always surprised. I'm like, oh, wow, look at that. Because I forget what's coming out in the fall. Who's the author? Roman. She has one coming out.
Mm-hmm. Alison Roman.
Alison Roman, thank you. The first name, it was like eluding me. So that I'm excited about. But yeah, you probably know more than I do at this point, what's coming out in the fall.
Yeah, because I've been reading all the lists to see what cookbooks are out there that are competing with mine. So that's sort of what has made me. I mean, I'm generous in spirit. There's room for all of us.
Yes.
I don't mean to sound like a horrible human being, because I really am not. I mean, I talk about chocolate chip cookies most of my day and baking. So,
I mean, that's very specific, the chocolate chip cookie. Not all cookies are created equal, clearly.
clearly. And
Clearly.
there's no cookie more famous, let's say, more
Yes.
popular. That's
For
not to
sure.
say it has to be everyone's favorite cookie. I'm not that person. I'm not going to tell you which cookie to love and which cookie not to love. There are enough cookies for all of us to love.
There are. I was thinking about the chocolate chip cookie, and I think it's one of those cookies, like, it could be soft, it could be hard, it can be, like, thin, it could be more gooey. Like, it's...
I divided my cookbook up into textures, and within each chapter of a texture, so there's crunchy, thin and crispy, soft. Then there are all sorts of different like takes on it, like breakfast cookies, because you should have cookies for breakfast, and these are vaguely nutritious. So I think,
I have my own breakfast cookie
You do?
that I make.
yeah, what is it?
It's, because I try and be healthy, it's mashed banana, oats, peanut butter. That's it. And some dark chocolate chips.
Okay, good. I just was waiting for the chip
Yeah,
part.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, yeah, it's breakfast. I need my chocolate fix. That's a
Yeah.
great mix.
My girls don't like it because it's dark chocolate and it's not milk chocolate.
Okay, but how old are your kids?
They are 11 and 12.
Okay, so they'll get there.
They will get there.
They'll get there. Maybe semi-sweet?
Yeah, well, they're really for me. Let's be honest, they're for me.
Okay, you can have whatever you want then.
I mean, my wife discovered them. She's like, "What are these?" She's like, "Oh, these are good." I was like, "They're mine."
The breakfast cookie I make that's really
Yeah.
delicious is made with chickpea flour and tahini and honey, and it's we're all like trying to get our protein in.
exactly.
It's got its protein. And I also use whole wheat flour and almond flour. So that boosts protein and nutrition. Look at this. I've turned chocolate chip cookies into a nutritious thing. It can happen. It's possible. Chickpea flour is one of those things where you're like, I'm going to taste this raw dough. And then you're like, bleh. I don't know if that sound translates in a podcast, but it tastes like dirt if you eat it raw. But once you bake it, it's delicious. And not earthy in a bad way, but like tasty and nutty.
I'll have to try that.
Yes.
I just bought oat flour, and then I realized I could just grind oats. But
Yeah, but no one's going to grind oats unless you have like a home mill as finely as like Bob's Red Mill will. You'll always
that's
get
true.
a little texture.
I
Right?
guess that's true.
But
I
we
guess that's
both
true.
have culinary backgrounds, right?
Yes, I didn't really pursue that as a career, but yes, I graduated, and I was trying to figure out the year. It all blurs. The older you get, the more it's.
Yeah, it was a time.
It happened. I know it happened. I just don't remember when it happened. Probably I graduated from the French Culinary Institute around 2000, year 2000.
And do you still cook in a French manner? A French-inspired manner?
No. I mean, I would say it's definitely, technique. I mean, that is really the background of, learning French cooking is they're really just teaching you a technique that you can translate into any cuisine.
Right.
That's it.
So you got the skills.
I got the skills. Like, I'm not going to tourne like potatoes because I feel like that is a waste of a potato for it to look like a cylinder.
Right. Though I still
Yeah,
have I still have what is called like the bird's beak knife
Yeah.
that you're supposed to tourne.
Yeah.
It makes it look like, yeah, you're right, like
Yeah, something like that.
like an O, yeah.
Yeah.
But what a waste.
What a
What
waste.
an annoyance also. It's like, I like a potato. At this point, I'm buying the bags of like mini potatoes that you can get that are all like, and
Yeah.
dumping those in a boiling water or dumping them in water, bringing them to a boil. Never warm water for potatoes. And serving those, and it's great. I don't have to do anything. It's cool because potatoes, they come ready to go.
They do. That they do. So, and where did you
I
have
went
your
to
training?
the Institute of Culinary Education just up the street from you, sort of. I mean, up the avenue on 23rd Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, French Culinary it's a different name, right?
I don't know.
believe.
We don't know.
Kathryn, you'll have to research that for us. So I worked during the day. This is when I worked at, Montclair Book Center. And then I went to cooking school at night.
I'm grateful for my training. I realized that I've been all my life in every other job that I'd had, I'd been the person who was like, I'll do some food for this. Can I do some? And, I grew up in a house where all we did was talk about food and politics. And so I went to cooking school with the intent of never working in a kitchen because that just seems like a horrible hellscape that I was not woman enough for. And I really wanted to go so that I could learn to write about food with some background knowledge. And I think it stands me in good stead. And I went on to review restaurants for the New York Times and for New Jersey Monthly. And I think chefs found it, when I would then interview them afterwards, found it sort of, I'm not blowing my own horn here, I'm trying to make another point. So let me get there before everybody's out there going, oh, nice ego, Rothkopf. Because I don't have a nice ego. It's very small and it lives in my pocket. Sometimes I take it out. But I would talk to chefs and I'd be like, oh, well, I went to cooking school. I would let them know that in advance so they didn't think that it was just some person who was like, I don't like the way your cottage cheese tastes because it doesn't taste like my mom's. I'd be able to look at food with some sort of perspective. Nowadays, where it's all Yelp and influencers who are like, look at me in front of this incredible spread at, the Olive Garden. It's, and they've gotten $150 worth of free food. And that becomes a wonderful thing for them and for the restaurant, but it's not a real review. And I miss that.
Do you feel that in telling chefs oh, I went to cooking school, do you think they even cared? Because I feel like coming out of cooking school and, what do they call it? Trailing in kitchens where basically you work for free. You go in, you work for free, and they could care less if I went to cooking school because it didn't really translate into real world kitchen experience.
Yeah, I think it was reassuring for a chef to know that they weren't being judged by somebody who didn't understand what goes into a restaurant kitchen and how a restaurant kitchen isn't always working perfectly 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It made me much more understanding of what they went through to develop recipes, that they were using only seasonal foods, that they were all things that if you haven't worked in a restaurant and don't understand how sauces are made and what kind of means to layer all the flavors that they do and put them all together, whatever, I think it made a difference to them. I think it put them at ease because I would also call and say, hi, I'm interviewing you. I guess I'm going to be reviewing the restaurant. They were like, oh, when are you coming in? I'm like, I've already been there. And they would get a little nervous. And I was like, don't worry, I'm just here to ask some questions.
Oh, okay. So it's coming at it from a different approach than wanting to
I wasn't
work in
doing
a
it to
kitchen.
impress them. I hopefully did it to put them at ease.
That makes more sense. Needless to say, I did not work in a kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. Needless to say. And my hat goes off to all the people who do.
It is not an easy job.
No, it's a hellacious job, and it's really meant for a certain type of person who they're better people than I am. That's what I have to say. It's a lot of work, and that's why I think there should be more respect for what's being put on the plate, and that's why I think things like Yelp, which I like to Yelp about, aren't the greatest for restaurants. I don't think it's done them any favors.
I don't really use Yelp at all. I just word of mouth is really, or my mouth. And
I trust my mouth.
Even, when we try a new restaurant, my wife always will look at the menu and she's like, what do you think I'll like? She can't even make. She was like, I don't know what to eat. What do you think I'll like? I'm like,
Aren't you enabling that behavior, though? Should we talk about that?
I totally am. I do that for my children as well.
Exactly.
Like before, if we try we had this thing where once a month all four of us would try a new restaurant.
That's a great thing.
Just because they're kids. They're in the, what are the food groups? They're mostly brown.
Yeah. Nuggets.
Yeah.
Some fried thing.
Fries. Yeah.
French fries.
Yeah.
Ice cream. Is that a food group? Baked goods.
For my one daughter, yeah, for sure. And
Cruciferous vegetables.
pizza.
Oh, sorry, pizza.
There's no vegetables.
Only the brassicas.
Yeah. So I always have to, I think we tried one of the Thai restaurant that is on Valley Road. But we love Thai. And so we're like, I think the girls would like Thai food. Let's give it a shot. And I was like, let me look at the menu, see what we can pull from.
Chicken satay.
Yeah, absolutely. Chicken satay.
Because it's peanut butter and it's chicken. Because it's great. Okay.
Any kind of dumplings they like. It's like, no, it's a ravioli. It's every culture has that version.
Every culture has a...
So but it's been interesting, doing that with them.
I think it's really important to do that. I have kids. And when they were like 11 and 12, I was in like the midst of reviewing lots of restaurants. And I'd be like, you want to come with mommy and try something new? And they'd be like, nah. And I love you guys. But at one point I did review ice cream, like in northern New Jersey. And then I also did pizzerias. Then they liked it. Then they were happy because I was bringing home like 3 or 4 different pizzas from different places.
Who wouldn't be happy with that?
No, I was really happy.
I want to do that.
No, it's one of those things where it's like, I did have to go to like 40 different pizzerias in a very small amount of time. And you'd think, oh, well, you probably don't want to eat pizza anymore. No, I like pizza even more now, right? I mean, New Jersey is the best place for pizza. New Haven can have whatever it wants. They say they're the pizza capital of the world. I have a lot to talk about with that, but it's New Jersey. It's the place. That's
not even New York.
New York's fine. They got stuff. We have more stuff, more variety, more interesting pizza. I'm just going to leave it there. And
I'm not even going to.
Did you hear me drop that pen? I did it with gusto because I feel like it wasn't a pen I dropped. It was the gauntlet. I've dropped it. Anybody want to challenge me on this? Robert Sietzma, you want to come out here and talk to me about New Jersey pizza? Yeah. The first I reviewed Dan Richer's Razza in Jersey City, which is hugely popular. And about, 8 years later, Pete Wells goes, the best pizza in New York City is in New Jersey. I'm like, yeah, Pete Wells, I reviewed Razza 8 years ago in the New York Times. Anyway, do you cook out of cookbook yourself?
Dun, dun, dun.
As a journalist, I'm asking the cutting questions.
Yeah, you are asking the cutting questions. First...
Or do you just collect them?
I've had to cut back. Yeah.
And is that for space reasons?
Space, yeah. And my significant other, complains about the real estate we have in our home for cookbooks. So, yes, I've cut back, and then I've cut back, and then now I guess she doesn't see the value. Although when it's her turn for dinner, she orders. So, I think she does see the value. But I guess it's just inspiration. I think that cookbooks are really, for me, inspiration, because I can't say there's ever a recipe where I'm 100% in. Mm-hmm. There's usually an ingredient in there. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. Or my kids are not going to eat that. Or that I'm not a big fan of rosemary.
Right.
So I think I can look at the list of ingredients and then go from there and see like what I can cut. I'm not a huge baker, believe it or not.
That makes me sad in my heart.
I feel like it's, yeah, I don't know. I like it. I mean, I like it.
Can I make a
Yeah.
guess as to why? Since this is our therapy session
Yes,
today,
yes.
a lot of people are very happy to look at a recipe for like a main dish and go, "Oh, my family doesn't like rosemary. I'm not going to buy it and have it wasted in the refrigerator. Let's just make this without this. And I think I can add cumin instead or whatever."
Right.
And people are more comfortable free-forming. The majority of people who come up to me and are like, "I don't bake," say, "Well, I'm not allowed to freeform and I'm worried that it'll turn out to be a terrible mess." And truly one of the things I've tried to do with all of my recipe developing, like my stuff on Substack, and also in my cookbook, are here's some basics to know. Don't be afraid to freeform a little bit. If you don't like this, put this in. If you don't like this, put this in. Yes, keep some of the basics there, right? But trying to get people to understand it a little more and not to be afraid. I think people are really afraid of cooking sometimes. They once burned something and they don't want to do it again. And that makes me immensely sad because the ability to go to your kitchen and within an hour have a warm chocolate chip cookie or a brownie that you made, that's a miracle. You can do it, people. It's there. And so I'm very cautious when I write recipes to make them very clear and not hold anything back. I've never really understood that, like, it's so fine and French. We must make it so special that it's like, no, it's like, it's butter, it's sugar, it's flour, a little bit of baking soda. Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Well, I think
Don't worry.
it's not a worry. Well, baking is more science. Like if things don't happen, right?
Yes, that's
Yes,
true. That is very true. But there's also just some basics that you can know if you read a recipe. If you can read a recipe, then you can make almost anything you want if the recipe's written well. It's really true. And make sure your baking soda is fresh. There's a few things like that. Make sure your baking soda is fresh so that things rise when they're supposed to rise. And your baking powder is fresh. Every 6 months, buy yourself something new. Go on. It's not that big an investment.
It is not. But I do use baking powder quite a bit. Baking soda, baking powder. What's the difference?
There you go. Double acting baking powder is there to start the rise once water hits it or some moisture hits it, and then it reacts then to heat. So you get 2 rises from baking powder. Baking soda is there. It gives you 1 rise, but it's also there in case if you're adding something slightly acidic, it helps to balance that. You need it in there. And that sounds terribly scientific. I don't want people to have to think about that. Just read the recipe. You'll be fine.
Fine. Fine, I'll read the recipe.
Okay, on the next episode of this podcast, you and I will bake together in my kitchen.
That would be lovely. So, do you have a favorite cookbook, a go-to cookbook for you?
For me, the cookbook I would get everybody who has room on their shelf and is just starting out is The Joy of Cooking. I think it's a great basic because it has everything. I think books like Kenji Lopez Alt's book about like kind of the science of cooking, which has a lot of great basic recipes in it, also a great cookbook for starters. That's something a little more, in a sense, modern. But anything you want is in The Joy of Cooking. In my mother's version, which was from like 1950, it tells me how to skin a bear and cook a bear. So that's a great one in case I come across a bear, and also how to skin a squirrel. It has anybody who's seen that book knows that there are these little charming, very 1950s illustrations of a woman wearing hobnail boots, like Granny wearing hobnail boots, skinning a squirrel, and to make, I guess, burgoo.
Well, I know where I'm going when the world explodes. Marissa can skin a squirrel.
I can skin a squirrel. Well, I haven't actually. I've just looked at the illustrations a lot because as a kid I was like, why would I want to do that? But apparently, Kentucky burgoo is a really popular stew. It also could give you mad cow disease. So maybe if you don't have to eat squirrel and you don't know where they've been, I can't recommend it. I collect a lot of mid-century books, cookbooks, and I read those for fun and pleasure to see how people used to eat and how lucky we are that things have evolved and flavors and tastes have evolved, and we use a lot more spices and our, it's not all like cream sauces and Jell-O. There's this place for them in the American culinary lexicon, but not so much. But I also use books like the Cake Bible as a sort of great basic for just learning how. It sort of taught me how to make a great cake, right? The kind of basics of it.
No pictures in The Joy of Cooking, though.
Just those cute little, those used to have those cute little illustrations. I love a cookbook with with photographs. And the best modern cookbooks have a photograph for every dish so that you know and you don't have to guess.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly comes into play when someone needs a cookbook as a gift. That's when I start pulling information, like, how do they like to cook? Or is this like a subtle hint? Is it?
So that's a really interesting question. So, I mean, or what I want to know is, what do people come in and ask for? Like, what kind of information do you try and extract from them?
Who it's for, their level of competency in cooking, like if they're terrified of it, if they feel confident in cooking, do they like cooking a certain style? Are they plant-based foods? Are they, gluten-free? Like, there's so many, like, there's a lot of, and there's cookbooks for all of them. There's very specific cookbooks.
What do you say to, like, if someone's like, I'm just starting out and I want to give, or like, two people getting married and you want to give them their starter cookbook? Like, what kind of things, what do you suggest?
That is a good one.
Scan the shelves in your mind.
Yes, I am scanning the shelves in my mind, because there's some general ones that I like, but they tend to be for the mom, the mom who doesn't have time to cook and wants to cook. And
so what would those books be?
I like What to Cook When You Don't Feel Like Cooking. It's a good one. I like the format. Mm-hmm. I do like the Easy Weeknight Dinners.
Love that book.
Emily Weinstein, yeah. For the more like person who's more of a foodie and ideas, the No Recipes one. Sam Sifton is a good one. But for the beginner, like not the beginner, but the general all around, I probably would recommend The Joy of Cooking. Honestly, it's a classic for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was a certain like age group of moms who grew up with The Joy of Cooking, other people who grew up having the Better Homes and Garden cookbook, that one that looks like a tablecloth, the checkered tablecloth cover. And I wonder what it is, like, do we have that cookbook for now?
Yeah.
For like this generation, or are we just so much less like focused on all of us eating the same kind of food? I think it's actually a great thing that we've sort of developed into a nation of all different types of food. Like if you look at Easy Weeknight Dinners, it's every different type of food, every different type of flavor that you could want.
Right.
So it is a good starter cookbook.
It is a good. And depending on and it's also the layout, which I also look at when purchasing. Like, that's, the concept is really neat. Like, okay, I want some, well, let's see, what am I in the mood for? Mm-hmm. Like, we haven't done this week. We haven't done anything with noodles, or like, what do they have there? Like, so I like that. I like that about it.
I think people still use cookbooks too. I don't know what your take is on this. I think there's a lot of people go online and are reading, I mean, I have lots of recipes online, so I get it, and I try and make them printable so people can print them out and it looks legible. But there's nothing like having a cookbook. To me, a cookbook is a book of promise. right? I may never get around to cooking 98% of the dishes. And I think there's some terrible like statistic where like people only cook like 1% of the recipes in a cookbook or something. But I always know they're there. It's like hope for me. It's like, someday I'm going to make that dish. Someday I'm going to do that. Or I'm going to make that tomorrow. I never do. It ends up being like 6 o'clock at night. And I'm like, what can I just, I'll boil those potatoes that I mentioned earlier. We'll just have potatoes. Makes my husband very happy. He's English. Yay, potatoes. Finally. Why with the pasta when I could eat potatoes? That's my husband in a nutshell right there. If anybody wants to know how to make him happy, potatoes.
I love potatoes. First dinner my wife made for me, macaroni and cheese from a box and rice-a-roni.
Rice-a-roni? Oh, I grew up eating rice-a-roni. Were those two served together?
Yes, that was dinner.
And then you fell asleep? The two of you were like, we cuddled up together. I like you. Gave a lot of very positive dopamine. You were like,
I've had a wiener off the carbs, but she's doing good. She's come a long way.
My mother made the rice-a-roni with the ground beef in it. It was really good.
Yeah. I have back to cookbooks. We sell a lot of cookbooks, and I'm always amazed.
Yay, so much.
Yes,
what?
Yay. And I'm always amazed. I know I shouldn't be, but I shouldn't say amazed. It warms my heart. There's people still find value in what a cookbook has to offer, and I have to say, like usually if I recommend Joy of Cooking, people look at it and they're like, and I could tell immediately. They're like, oh, this is like too many words. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to look at here. So then I have to go with there's always believe it or not, I do love Martha. I'm sorry. I love Martha Stewart. Her Great Good Food, it's very basic. I don't know if you're familiar with pictures on every page.
Yep.
I think in a world we live in where everything is very visual, I think that is what people like.
I completely agree. I mean, look at Ina Garten's cookbooks. Nigella Lawson, her the Domestic Goddess cookbook. That's
I look at her. I buy it for her. So I'm not going to lie. Now, if it talked to me, the cookbook, then that would be even better.
They have this thing now called YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
You might want to consider. It's like a talking cookbook. You'll love it. Try it. And I'm sure you could find Nigella all over it.
I probably could. Well, I mean, that's the growing trend too. You don't have to be a chef. Like when I'm buying, I'm like, oh, okay. Everything is, on a website now, so we can just kind of scroll through. We can look at the covers. We can look at some of the recipes inside, which is fun. I'm always clicking through pictures and marketing info. And, I look at who they are, where they're from, where's the restaurant.
Do you like a restaurant cookbook?
I feel like if they're New York based, then yes. The British ones, people don't really know. Maybe Ottolenghi, but other than that, I don't know if people are as much in tune.
Yeah.
But if anything, they're 2 million followers on TikTok or Instagram, or that is where I think a lot of cookbooks are coming from too.
Can you hear the tears rolling out of my eyes? Can you hear that? No, but for people at home, it's really I mean, I don't know if I should go down this path, but
I'm not saying
No, the path for me is I've been doing what I do for years and years and years and years. And it used to be enough to just say, I write for the New York Times and I've written for Real Simple and blah, blah, blah. And I have thousands and thousands of followers on Substack, but I don't have 1 million followers. So to prove to a publishing house that you're worth something, and just for the people at home, I'm not 5'10", 28 and blonde, and I'm not living some sort of incredible lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just me. And I really like baking and I know stuff. So
I
could
have
you
to
buy
s-
my cookbook? Like it's you can't exactly schlep your way into a publisher and go, "Hi, I've been a food journalist for a long time, and you gotta make it a little sexier."
Yeah, I have to say, 99% of the time, I'm like, I have no idea who you are. I am not one of the 2 million people who know. And believe me, my feeds are full of every food person you can think of,
Right.
and Taylor Swift. But that's a different story.
And are we going to talk about the album, or that's off topic? Or what about her chai
chai.
cookies, which are also delicious?
Are they?
She has her own recipe. She does have her own recipe.
Have you made it though?
Yes,
And
they're delicious. It's like a buttery cookie with a chai spice glaze.
that sounds delicious.
It is.
All right, I'll have to go down a rabbit hole when I'm supposed to be working later, looking at.
No, it's research.
That's right. That is research. That is definitely research. So what else should we talk about? Favorite utensil?
My favorite utensil? That's easy. My favorite. You're looking at me like, how could that be easy? I mean, I like forks, knives, and spoons. Those are your basic utensils. But like kitchen gadgets?
Do you have a lot of them?
No. Used to review them for Newsweek. Different cat. And like big gadgets like $10,000 coffee machines. And then little things like strawberry hullers. But if I had to like pick some things for people to have in their kitchen, I know the first thing I would get them, not the first thing, one of the things I would get them would be a rasp for zesting lemons and chocolate and Parmesan cheese. It's great. It's the lovely like former carpenter rasps.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
That became really popular like 15, 20 years ago. One of the best tools in the kitchen. And really good at if you want to shave your knuckles. Also very good at it.
I didn't know that's what it was called.
A
They call
rasp?
it- Yeah.
A zester?
What's a microplane?
That's the microplane.
Oh, that is a
Sorry, microplane zester.
I
Or
see.
rasp. She said with a raspy voice.
That is a good one.
That's a great one.
That is
Okay,
a
your
great
turn. We should do a lightning round. Tools in your kitchen. You could only have 5. What are they? Go.
Oh my gosh.
You've got your microplane zester. I'm assuming you're going to agree with me on that one because it's a great one. Uh-oh. She's making
It
it
is a
small.
great-
She's curling up her nose ever so slowly. Just a little. KitchenAid mixer.
Yeah, I mean, but you can do that stuff.
Good
by
carbon
hand.
steel pan.
Spatula.
What kind?
Oh,
Like a silicone spatula?
yeah. So,
Okay. That's a great thing to have in the kitchen. Wooden spoon?
of course.
Okay. I mean, not of course for everyone.
Right. Of course, you need a knife.
Good knife. How
One
many
good
knives
knife.
do you need? One good knife.
One good knife. That's it. So that's what I say. One good knife.
One good knife. I might vote for 2 good knives so you can have like a paring knife and then a chef's knife. You don't need more than that.
You do not need more than that.
It's fun to have more than that.
I mean, yeah. I probably have too many gadgets, but definitely not a mandolin because
No,
the
that's-
first time I used it, I sliced off the tip of my finger.
Of course, I think everybody did.
Did they?
Yeah, I think it's sort of like a rite of passage, like being initiated into a club. I have used the mandolin. Would you like to see the scar? I think.
Literally, it was the first slice, and then the finger was in the vein. I'm like, and I'm done.
That's why I only do beets, so no one can see the blood from.
Like,
Sorry, people.
love beets.
Okay, you have to get rid of 3 things in your kitchen right now. What are they?
Mandolin.
Mandolin. But you have one, of course. I have one. Yeah.
And that I don't know, that little box thing that people like
No.
kind of, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? You put the whatever you want to dice and then you like slam the lid down.
You don't
and-
really have one of those, do you?
I
Did
do.
someone- And have you ever used it?
No, I have not.
Because you have knife skills.
Yeah.
I think maybe the best thing someone could have in their kitchen is knife skills. Because I think also it gets you cooking much faster. If you could slice an onion in 30 seconds as opposed to like chop, chop, chop. I
Yeah.
think you're going to like cooking more.
Although I last weekend we had our block party and I made homemade mac and cheese, which I've never made before. I know that. Shocking because my kids are like, unless it comes from a box, they don't want to eat it.
Yeah.
But for others, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to. Like, my wife was like, are you just going to buy lots of boxes of, mac and cheese and make that? I was like, no. I'm like, these are people who will eat the real stuff. So I have to say a food processor. Like, I broke out the food processor. I put in the cheese grating blade, and I was like, it was like so fast. I was like, man, to think I would be like grating 4 blocks of this by hand.
Yeah, the food processor made short work of it.
Yes. I don't know why. I think because I didn't want to have to clean it, so I didn't want to use it in the past.
But it can go straight in the dishwasher.
I never put anything in the dishwasher. That's another story. That's a topic for another.
I think, when I started off my podcast originally, like I have a podcast called The Secret Life of Cookies, and it was originally supposed to be about dealing with like people's cooking anxiety in a time of, I started at just the start of like the first Trump administration, and we would bake together and talk about like things that made people nervous in the kitchen, right, as a sort of escape from it all. And it was during the end of COVID, so everyone was still home and in their kitchen. And it started off as a sort of therapeutic thing. My first guest was Kathy Griffin, the comedian, and I found out that she wanted to learn to make lemon bars. And she talked about all the reasons that she was nervous about making lemon bars, and I talked her through it, and she made lemon bars, and ta-da, they were delicious. But I'm thinking that maybe we need to go back to that formula of like, we'll talk about what's holding you back in the kitchen. And I think for you, it's not using the dishwasher. Nothing holds you back. I mean, you can make anything, but why don't the dishwasher is so handy and uses less water?
I do know that. I did discover that recently. I was like, that can't be true. And it is true.
It is true. But no shame. There's no shame. These are just choices you're making. I don't mean to shame you.
I have been making an effort to use it more. I have a lot of issues. We won't get into all of them here.
And tomorrow's episode, we dig deep. Did you think it was worth it making mac and cheese from scratch?
Yeah, because
did you make the recipe? Did you use the recipe yourself, or where did you get the recipe from?
I don't know. I have this it's just a journal. It's a Keith Haring journal. I don't know when I got it, but the cover's fallen off and it's held together by a rubber band, and there's lots of folded pieces of paper in there,
That's
recipes.
The best.
Yes. And so it was in there. I think there's more than one recipe in there, and it says mac and cheese, and underneath it I have written, "This is the one," with an exclamation point. And I'm like, well, I guess this is the one. I haven't made it in who knows how long, but hey, how bad could it be? Because I think that's another thing. There's so many variations.
How bad could mac and cheese be unless it's super dry, right? And was it the one? Would you still put an exclamation point by it if you were reviewing it today?
Yes, I think I would have maybe used a little bit more milk. I think it could have been a little creamier because it's baked. Because you don't have to bake macaroni and cheese, do you?
No, you don't. You can do.
So,
Kenji Lopez Alt has an amazing one pot, and it's not in a cookbook. It's online. But if you type in Kenji Lopez Alt one pot macaroni and cheese, it's crazy good. It is like, it's insane. It's like condensed milk and cheese and macaroni and what else? You can add garlic powder or whatever, but it is.
But yes, it was a hit. I put a little chili powder in it to cut the dairy, and that's like a nice little, not overwhelming, but a nice little surprise. And the girls liked it. They tried it, and they're like, "This is good." I was like, "Yeah, it's great."
Surprise. But they're different categories, right? Like you can't compare homemade mac and cheese to boxed mac and cheese. It's like it's comparing an Oreo to a home-baked chocolate chip cookies. Both deserve to exist in the world of cookie, right?
Well, they would look at it and be like, "Well, it's not really, the color's off." I was like, "Yeah, because it's not orange." So like, I should have just put food
Or
color
just
in
use
it.
orange cheese. right? I mean, come on.
I could have done that. But I was never a fan of the like hiding vegetables in the food. When I was pregnant, I thought I would be that mom, and then in reality, it was set in, and I was like, just eat the brown food. I don't care.
But also, they'll get there, right?
Absolutely. That's when their kid won't go to isn't potty trained, and you're like, well, they're not going to be in high school and wearing a diaper. So
Yeah.
at some point, it'll click, and they'll be like, I want to eat healthy.
Or they just might like the flavors of things suddenly, right?
Yes.
It's very good.
But I think, the whole adage of 50 times you're supposed to try something? 50,
Yeah,
something ridiculous like that.
That's truly,
And it's
for
the truth.
another. It's true, but it's also for a totally different episode of feeding kids, because I have a lot of.
Oh, I was talking about my wife. Every time we go to a party and they're passing around hors d'oeuvres, and there's, without a doubt,
Wait,
there's
do you
always...
go to a lot of parties where people are passing around hors d'oeuvres? What kind of life do you lead?
Yeah, you're right. No, they're
No, I was getting jealous. Just say yes.
yes. A lot of weddings. Put it that way. They were always passing around like mini crab cakes. Love them. Every time. Do I like these? No, but she eats it anyway, and then she's like, and spits it into a napkin.
But at least she tries it.
So I'm like, wow, she really is getting her 50 times. And I told her she has about maybe 25 more times to go.
And what's not to like about a crab cake? Anyway, maybe she
Yeah.
doesn't like fish. I don't know I don't want to.
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm digging into your life here, and
I know.
I'm
I'm
very
sharing.
proud of.
Am I oversharing? Right now?
No, I think people like that. People
they?
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to come in with tips for you on getting.
Couples counseling. That's what they'll say. No, okay.
Do you cook differently for fall?
I love soup, of course.
Soup.
Love soup.
Like, has there been the changeover in your kitchen? Have you stopped using, has it stopped, the tomato basil sort of combo platter, and you're moving into squash? Have you gotten there yet?
I have not gotten there yet. No, but I don't know if I was ever in the tomato basil.
Oh, I see. Okay. So summer, come on. A lot of zucchini? Like, what are you doing?
I like to grill. Well, I grill year round though.
Right. That's the great thing
Anything.
now. It's like, I grill year round. I know for me, I'm suddenly I really resisted the whole I'm going to start baking with pumpkin now, or I'm going to start, but I've turned this will be the weekend where I give in to the pumpkin spice.
Did you not buy any processed or grocery store baked goods?
That seems a bit of a loaded question for me. I did just write an entire book about chocolate chip cookies. So I do a lot of baking. I also have a Substack where I create recipes for people every week. Although this week's recipe is going to be savory, not going to be. But for myself, I'm always digging into should I make a pumpkin spice thing with some caramelized apples on top?
And who benefits from these treats?
My neighbors.
Very nice.
Now, my son will come out and bring them back to college with him. His roommates are very receptive to fresh, warm baked cookies. Does that surprise anyone?
No.
No. So
I'm just kind of trying to figure out how we can benefit here at the bookstore from your baked treats.
call me. I take requests.
We have a lot of people with sweet tooths here. Personally, I'm more of a savory than a sweet.
I see.
I know. I say that at the end of this conversation for a reason.
Yeah.
But that's, I'm varied just as I am with my reading taste.
Let me ask you a question, though, before we get onto your reading taste. If I were to come in here with a platter of warm chocolate chip cookies, would you be like, no, thank you, I'm only for the savory, or would you have one?
No, I would definitely have one. Okay. Homemade, I always make an exception for homemade. But if if it's a store-bought pie, I'm like, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm not going to...
And they're also cookies, miso chocolate chip cookie, which I think you would appreciate for its sort of tends a slightly more savory. Yeah. And
that's good. See, that's kind of scares me.
Okay.
combo there. You're
This sounds like also another
Like,
time where
oh
I'm
my
dropping a
gosh.
gauntlet. Boom. I'll bring you one is more
All
what I'm
right.
saying. I mean,
more. I feel like we have more, issues of mine to flesh out here in the future. Maybe even a live cooking
Demo. We should
demo.
do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
demo, definitely. So, other than reading cookbooks, developing recipes, do you read for pleasure, like fiction or nonfiction?
I have been reading a book called Butter, which is a really super popular book out of Japan, and it's been a really interesting read. It's taken me a little bit longer to get through it than I wanted, but it also introduced me to the pleasures, because it's part mystery and it's a wonderful book, but introduced me to the idea, see, it is food, of warm rice with a little pat of butter and a little bit of soy sauce, and just how perfect and simple that is. But this time of year, because it's kind of getting into spooky season, there are two books, like if people haven't read them yet, they're like my favorites. And one is Northwoods, which is spooky and brilliant. And also the other book by neighbor in Montclair is Hester by Laurie Lico Albanese, which is a book I read, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. It's stuck with me ever since, about Nathaniel Hawthorne and who the woman was behind the Scarlet Letter. It's a absolutely moving book, and so, I guess, picturesque. I love it. It's really stuck with me. And they're great for spooky season.
Love it.
And you?
I am reading a book called Pick a Color, and it takes place in a nail salon.
Yeah, go on. I'm listening.
It's a short little book. It's under 200 pages, but it's told from the perspective of the woman who owns and runs the nail salon, and how she views customers and her coworkers, and it's just a very interesting. And Pick a Color is really, that's the first thing they say to you. You walk in, I'd like a manicure, pick a color.
Wow. So does it give you insight? Like, would you?
Oh, yeah.
Do you really want to ever get a manicure again?
Well, you might think, oh, are they talking about me? And of course they are, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's
But
confirmed.
It's definitely confirmed. Her name is Thema Vangza. It's just really great.
All
It's
right.
really great. It's something completely different than I would read, but it's fascinating. Really well done. I guess in working in the service industry myself, like, it's an interesting take on how you're, as an employee, you're viewed by people you're servicing.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, I gotta read this. The cookbook I'm looking forward to is Dory's Everyday Cakes. I mean, why not, right? It has all the good words. Dory Greenspan, great. A brilliant baker, every day, and cake together, which are two words that go great together.
I could eat cake every day. I don't know what cookbook I'm looking forward to. I have to check my list, but there are a lot. I mean, it's pre-Christmas. This is when they're all coming out.
Absolutely. It's a busy season.
A lot of cookie cookbooks, but I will only recommend yours.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Then I will bring you treats. For every 10 books you sell, I bring you a dozen cookies. Okay, 2 dozen cookies. 3 dozen? And a cake.
Sounds good to me, Martha.
Okay, put your order in.
All right.
Thank you, Marissa and Nicole, for joining us on this episode. Listeners, you can find the links to their books and all the books they mentioned on our website and show notes. And listeners, we're going to take a couple weeks off, but we'll be back in November.
Tomorrow, October 15th, don't miss debut novelist Caroline Palmer to talk about her book, Workhorse, in conversation with Kate Tuttle.
On October 27th, don't miss the return visit from Mona Awad for the release of We Love You, Bunny. And on October 28th, Jake Silverman will talk about Gilded Rage at the Montclair Public Library. And on Wednesday, October 29th, Trey Johnson will be here to talk about his book of essays, Black Genius.
You can get details and tickets for all of our events, story times, and book clubs through our newsletter, show notes, or at watchungbooksellers.com.
The Watchung Booksellers podcast is produced by Kathryn Counsell and Marnie Jessup, and it's recorded at Watchung Booksellers in Montclair, New Jersey. The show is edited by Kathryn Counsell, and original music is composed and performed by Violet Mujica. Research and show notes by Caroline Shurtleff. Thank you to the staff at Watchung Booksellers and the Kids Room for all their hard work and love of books.
And thank you for listening. If you enjoy the show, please like, follow, and share it. You can follow us on social media at Watchung Booksellers. And if you have any questions or ideas, you can reach us at wbpodcast@watchungbooksellers.com.
We'll see you next time. Until then, for the love of books, keep reading.